Why do Chinese watch companies not get native English speakers to vet your names before finalizing it? It's a mystery that I'm still pondering. We had this particular cracker before, and now I have another with a bit of a questionable name. Anyway, on to the review, guys. All right, guys, so here I have today's watch box that I am featuring today with the piece inside, and this is this brand original. Let me know if you know how to pronounce that. I think it's or age loser. I'm leaning towards the second, but if you know better than me, let me know because they don't actually tell you how to pronounce it. Okay, so just faux leather case here. Nicely felt on the interior there. It's got tags, it's got a cleaning cloth, and then it's got the international warranty there. Okay, nothing much more than that. And then showing you guys this piece in more detail, really, check it out. It really is obviously a skeleton tourbillon watch that is pretty well done. This is the age loser tourbillon. I think they call it male skeleton piece. Nothing creative about the name there, but you can see the brand at the top there. Now this piece is listed at $800, at least on their website. That's what it is, or 800 plus. I suspect it's not going to move for that, but we can talk about that in detail a little bit more. Right, so first up, of course, I'm going to talk about the movement. This is obviously heavily modified. There's nothing out there with the bridges exactly like that, but it's based on the Hangzhou PTS 3450A. You can look it up on the PTS catalog if you wish. High beat that you can see on the left of the screen there, 25 joules. Rated at 72-hour reserve as far as I can tell, and it does go for a very long time. When I wind it up fully, you can see it's got 2 barrels of springs there. So, I think it does last roughly that, but I haven't absolutely tested it. Obviously, the main complication is the 6 o'clock position tourbillon you can see on screen. Rated accuracy plus or minus 25 seconds per day. Detected accuracy, because I'm not going to try to use that tourbillon as a second hand. Detected, it varies between +3 to about +10. The mean is about +5 seconds per day. So pretty good regulation on this piece out of the box, I have to say. Okay, so moving on to the case here. This is a 40mm diameter case. The thickness, they've done it pretty well, right? 10.7mm, so under 11. 20mm lug width here with 47mm lug-to-lug distance. Overall weight on leather strap is only 69. It's really overall quite light. Moving on to finishing then. So it's got a polished bezel, right? Very obviously you can see the bezel is quite polished. It's got polished bottom surfaces there. Again, you can see that quite obviously. Longitudinal brushing right on the sides there, and also longitudinal brushing on the top surface of the lugs with a bevel on the lug side there. Hopefully you can see that. Right, that is polished. So nicely done. The case is actually pretty nicely done. They haven't completely cheapened out on the case here. So, well done on that. It's got a screw down display back, right? But the crown is of course a push crown. This is obviously not an automatic. It is a manual wind. So you're not going to screw down the crown. It is a push sign crown. Overall water rating is 50 meters. And for a dress style watch like this, that is going to be what you get, right? It's going to be 50 meters. You're not going to expect 100+ meter water resistance in this construction. Okay, moving on to that dial, right? So which is where most of the work in this watch is, right? So this is obviously a skeleton dial. It's got brushed black finishing on the bridges. I assume that's PVD and not DLC, but I don't think they've actually stated that anywhere. So I assume that's going to be PVD metal. It's got a chapter ring on the flange there and applied polish indices on that flange with the brand name at the 12 o'clock position. The hands are sword style, I want to say. I think I'm going to call them a kind of sword style. They are jewel finish, right? Both brushed and polished there. So well done on the jewel finishing there. It's really quite required when you have such such an obvious skeleton on this dial here. No loom anywhere on this dial, which is okay with me, right? This is a dress style watch, and I don't mind if they don't give me any loom. Okay, on top of that dial, guys, hopefully I can show you the reflection here. So that is a very light dome there. Okay, so a domed sapphire crystal. I think it's got some AR. It's not the most fantastic AR, but I think there is some anti-reflection there. Okay, so that's the entire description of the case. Now moving on to the strap here. This is just a fairly simple gloss crop pattern black stitch leather here. It's got this kind of nice orangey backing, which I appreciate. You know, it's really quite bright when you kind of turn it around and you get surprised by the bright color here. It does taper to 18 millimeter. And then it's got this custom clasp here, right? I think it's custom, I'm not entirely sure, but it kind of deploys like that. And, you know, that's the way it is. But I have to say, this is actually relatively difficult to use. And I'll try to demonstrate how to put this strap in. You kind of have to, you know, kind of turn that around and then push that through. And that's really the way to size it. And my sizing is approximately there. Okay, so not the most easiest and most obvious to figure out, and the manual that came, sorry I didn't show you that, but that came separately outside of that package, didn't quite explain all that, but that's how it snaps onto the wrists. Okay, so you know, fairly cool I suppose. It's just got that visible on the outside on this croc pattern ladder, and that's how this watch sits on my wrist. So remember, 40 millimeter case with under 11 millimeter thickness. That's really how it sits, 47 millimeter lug to lug. And, you know, that would fit most guys. I think, you know, definitely fits me, and, you know, very obvious wrist presence because of that sizable dial with that tourbillon there. Okay, so that's it, guys. That's the description. What have I really enjoyed about this? Well, look, it's a freaking tourbillon, right? It's a tourbillon, and it very, very obviously functions well. And I think this movement, if it's based on PTS, it's going to be pretty reliable, right? As far as I can research and find out. It's got a nicely done skeleton modification. I have to say, this skeleton mod, I mean, just look at it. Look at how much detail you can see here. It's pretty cool. They've done it pretty well, and it is different to the default movement. So if you can get this closer to around 500, I reckon it's pretty fair. It's a pretty fair deal, right? The case is quite well done, right? There's no major you know, gripes or criticisms I would give to this case for what they've done. It's actually pretty good. And the strap quality, I have to say, the actual feel of the strap is actually also pretty good. It's pretty supple, and it's very easy to stuff up and cheap out on the strap, and they haven't. So you know, good on them for that. What have I found to be weaknesses? Well, I would say there are a few points, right? The hands, they honestly can be quite difficult to see in some situations, right? In this bright room here that I have with natural light, I think it's okay. But look, in artificial light, in darker rooms, I think it actually gets quite difficult to read, and I've had to stare at it to kind of see where the hands are. So that can be a bit difficult. I think the crown's too small, right? That's my personal opinion. I think they could have made that bigger, because after you wind it up quite a few times, it does get a bit difficult. Right? Right now it's a bit loose, but once you get closer to the full reserve, it can be difficult to get the torque on this crown to continue winding it. The strap, while the strap quality, the leather is good, I think this clasp is difficult. It's difficult to use. It's not the best fitting, right? You see the way it sits on the wrist, potentially not the best fitting, right? The contour, you can already see that being dented there. So I would prefer if they went for maybe one of the Omega style leather straps. I wouldn't mind that at all. Yes, it is original, so good on them. They actually have achieved the original in the name there, and that's a rare thing for a micro brand or a Chinese brand, but that should be better in my opinion. As with the other tourbillon, Chinese tourbillon that I've reviewed, the Aesop, this is a very loud movement, so I'm not sure if it's going to hear it. Let me put it next to the mic. So not sure if that actually is picked up by the microphone, but it's actually a very loud movement. You can hear this, easily from about a foot away, or at least I can when the room is quiet. It's a loud movement. In fact, it stopped running just now, so I didn't notice that, so I had to wind it up again to show you guys how that actually sounds next to the microphone. Really quite a loud movement, probably the loudest movement ever in terms of the automatic ticking there. And then lastly, of course, that age loser, or the I really do wish they would get English speakers to kind of give an opinion on that before going with their names. So guys, there we go. This is the age loser tourbillon, my thoughts on it. Let's flip it around now for the wrap up. So there you go, guys. I hope you enjoyed that quick fire review. Let me know your thoughts and comments below. Always look forward to the discussion from my viewers. Guys, if you enjoy my videos, do consider subscribing. New content every week, always aiming to be objective and unbiased about all things horology. Thank you again for sticking with me, and as always, I'll catch you guys again next time.